Hey there, everyone in YouTube land. I don't know if you recall, but I put up a long time ago a project very similar to this one done with an Xavier guitar, and it inspired me to actually make the real deal and just go full out and buy very high quality parts and take it as far as I could really take it without going too overboard. So, just a quick rundown of the features. You'll notice right away that it has the same color. I really loved that Seafoam Green. So, I did this color in nitrocellulose from Re-Ranch. Used the rattle cans from Re-Ranch. And also decided to give it a matching headstock. You can also see that the neck that I used has the standard Telecaster headstock shape and logo on it. I've updated the guitar with Fender locking Perloid tuners and Fender badge on the back here. Turn down the volume so I'm not doing that the whole entire time I'm moving things around. The rest of the stuff remains the same in terms of electronics with a few exceptions. So same pickups, same switching system. I have upgraded the potentiometers and the tone capacitor. So right now they have Mojo tone pots, and we have a vitamin Q capacitor in there. So it's got a really vintage sound and vibe to it. And then the biggest upgrade is going with the fully legitimate Bigsby B5 bridge, and I used actually Vibramate. They have this setup that allows you to get kind of the ashtray style bridge, which I've always wanted on a Tele, and I wanted 3 saddles instead of 6. So we got the ashtray bridge with 3 barrel saddles, and then it's got the little holder that locks into place under the ashtray bridge and at the strap button so that you can put on a Bigsby without actually having to drill holes through your guitar. And then I have the strap lock buttons on it, and again, another thing you'll notice about this neck, it's actually bound, and I have installed my own Perloid blocks in the neck. So I routed it out with a Dremel router and installed these Perloid blocks in there to kind of make it look almost exactly like the Fender Tele Thinline Super Deluxe. That's the neck I've been dreaming about having on a Telecaster for a long time. And when they came out with that guitar, I thought, oh, cool. Wish it came in Seafoam Green. And if it did, I would have bought that and just done this to it. But they don't make it that way. So I made my own. And you can also see that I actually bound the top of this Tele with Perloid as well. So it's just the top is bound, not both sides. And it's got that nice little pearl thing. I think we'll lovingly call this the Pearlcaster. And I'll leave it to your debate, but I might have gone a little overboard on the pearl. So a real quick review of a couple of the new upgrades and how I feel about them. So the Vibramate system here with this bridge and this Bigsby holder, really very cool. Let's talk about the things that are different for me. Not necessarily bad, but different. 3 saddle bridge. I really did want this. It's a bitch to intonate, obviously. Everybody knows that. I do think that I got it into a fairly good place for this guitar. It seems like everything's pretty much dead on across the whole entire neck. So that's rare, but positive that I managed to do that. Otherwise, I would have gotten the intonated saddles or compensated saddles. Then the other thing that I've noticed is that the Bigsby doesn't travel quite as far, and I have some theories as to why. Oh, I also have the string spoiler. Recall in an earlier video somewhere I mentioned that Bigsbys are a real pain in the butt to string up. And I think that really holds true for the Gretsch that I have back there because there's no locking tuners. So I think this system is actually probably a lot easier because you just hook it, pull it, and lock it. You don't have to hold the string in place while winding or stuff a piece of foam under there to keep the string on the peg, and so anyway, back to the Bigsby holder. So I think that because this adds so much distance between the body of the guitar and where the Bigsby is sitting, it actually affects sort of how far back your strings are pulled and how far they can travel. So you don't get, I don't feel, as much of a pitch variance when you're using the vibrato, but it's still there. Let's face it, you're not doing dive bombs with a Bigsby. You're just giving it a nice little subtle surfy thing to it. So it still works quite well. So we got the saddles, we got the Bigsby, how far it travels. The sound, fantastic. These Mojo pots and the cap are really, really great. Locking tuners they're really beautiful looking, and they also function quite well, and it's going to help the guitar stay in tune, along with having a bone nut and some string lubricant. So that'll really help keep this guitar in tune, even if I do go crazy with slamming on the tremolo. Then let's see, last thing, what did I forget? I know I'll come back to it, I swear to God. Okay, here it is. So one of the things I deliberately decided not to do with this Tele, if you'll notice, is put string through bridges on there. So when I had the body made, I asked for none of those because I was only going to string it from the top, right? Now I'm kind of wishing that I had put those there, because it would have been really cool to see the difference in tone between having all this mass right here, all this metal sitting on the end of the guitar, and just pulling the strings straight through and hooking them in, and seeing what the difference in tone would be there. So I have a few suspicions about, you know, some of the differences in tonality, and one of the things I feel like might be happening with this guitar, not that this is a negative, because I actually think it sounds fantastic as is, but just for the sake of experimentation, I would be interested to see what the difference is if you take this Bigsby bridge off of the holder that's made by Vibramate and attach it directly to the body. Just don't want to put the screw holes in it. But if you put it directly on the body, you're both getting a little bit more distance for the arm to travel, and also I think you're removing one piece of the equation for the strings to transfer vibrations to the body, right? So I think that would change the tone in a fairly significant way. And then taking this off altogether and putting the strings through the body, I think obviously it has a totally different feel. And the reason I'm wishing I had the string through is because since I haven't attached this permanently and it's done with this, you know, hookup piece, it'd be really cool to alternate between the two setups, and you could essentially have two different setups for recording and things like that. So I may end up installing them myself. I don't know, but there you have it. So there's the feature rundowns. Let's go through tones and stuff, and this will be somewhat similar to the Xavier demo, but not necessarily. So a quick reminder of how this guitar functions. Very, very cool setup. Very, very cool setup in terms of the switching. So right now I have it on position 1, and that is the full bridge humbucker. So you can hear it's really chimey. Again, with the Xavier, I set these pickups up so that they were the whole pickup 4 millimeters away from the strings, with each pull piece adjusted to 2 millimeters away from the strings. So for whatever reason, it backs off a bit of the magnetic field, lets the strings really ring out, and then it increases a bit of the, you know, kind of individual articulation of the strings. So whether that's good or not for someone like me who screws up all the time, the guitar is very articulate. So that's kind of nice. And then position 2, we actually split this humbucker, and we use only the north coil. So only that coil right there. You can hear how much thicker that is. So you get a cool single coil. Then I have both pickups on full in position 3. That's very cool and jazzy. Then we got a very interesting split that sounds a lot like a Telecaster in the middle position. So this is the southern coil of the humbucker and the P90. I think this is the twangiest setup of them all. But it's got a cool, cool middle position tele feel to it. It really nails it, and it's got, it's really chicken picking kind of goodness. Anyway, you get the feel. And then the P90. Again, I think this is my favorite pickup position on pretty much every guitar I play. The neck pickup, for whatever reason, just... I think if they made a Les Paul Jr. with just a P90 in the neck position instead of the P90 down here, I'd probably buy it in a heartbeat, because I love this position on a guitar. I just think it's got... And there my amp reverb just kicked on. You can hear that. This Blackstar amp has started failing me. And the reverb amp will sizzle on and sizzle off at will. Anyway, so I really dig that neck pickup. Turns out I hit the switch. There's the neck pickup. Anyway, okay, you can hear that's much thicker. I was thinking maybe my amp was pussing out on me again, but all right. So that's quite nice. Let's give it a little bit of dirt, or gristle, as Greg Koch would say. Something of destructionness, malfeasance of whatever. He's a hero, Go figure. Articulate that is, and even more so on the bridge pickup, which I'll show you in a second. Time to tune. New strings. All right, so where were we? All right, position 3. So this is really cool. I like this position a lot when you turn the tone all the way down. And even if I turn the tone all the way down and throw some seriously high gain on it and back off the volume just a bit, you can hear the amp starts hissing like mad. But it almost gets fuzzy. Like, it almost turns into a fuzz pedal. Yeah, you see, it's just it's got such grit to it. I really dig that when you can dive in with that thing. And I really love guitars where the volume and the tone like give you a palette, you know, where they really change the sound of the guitar. That's so cool to me. To just want to plug my guitars directly into an amplifier and have a clean, a gritty, and a solo type of sound, and then just adjust with volume and tone. It makes it a lot of fun. So yeah, you see that's a lot of fun there. Can you tell I can only play an E? Anyway, the other thing you can hear that I really feel like it could be a combination of the paint job, it could be a combination of the new tone woods, the combination of the fairly high quality neck. This is actually an Eden neck from China, and surprisingly, I found out when I got this thing and took the finish off it that it had a really sick flame maple to it that it really showed up once I tinted the neck with the nitro, and I was pretty surprised by that. But it came bound, and like I said, I put the pearl blocks in it. Anyway, I don't know if it's the combination of the the maple neck, rosewood board, alder body, and having it hollow, but there's something about this that has a really woody tone to it. And again, here we go with my favorite, the freaking. Oh, gotta love it. That's out of tune. Oh well. So you can hear this thing, man. It's got some self-compression to it. It's got, I mean, the... Yeah, I mean that's sailing. So and then here's the Yeah, something like that. Love that. Stray Cats. So, yeah, I mean, you can see. I think this. I'm gonna call this one a successful build for sure, and I'll keep it around in this configuration for a very long time. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. Like I said, maybe at some point I'll experiment with string through, see if I enjoy the sound of that better. But you know, I really think that this is a unique configuration and one I'm proud to call mine. Copy it if you will. Give credit this way.